Hello and welcome to my channel, Project Lucidity. Project Lucidity is the name I've given to this video diary that's going to be documenting my progress towards my goal of having a lucid dream. A lucid dream, there's a good chance that if you've sought this video out on purpose, you already know what a lucid dream is. But in case this video has been randomly spat at you by the algorithm on YouTube, a lucid dream is just a dream where the dreamer becomes aware, becomes conscious of the fact that they're dreaming, and is often or possibly followed by the dreamer then assuming control of the dream. So if you think about this for a moment, one example might be, let's say you go to sleep, and while you're sleeping, you begin to have a dream that you are talking to your boss, and your boss is telling you that you're not doing a good enough job, and they start to get angrier and angrier, and as they get angrier, they become bigger and scarier, and in the process of all this occurring, you start to look around and you realize, I'm at work, but there are people here that shouldn't be here. And my boss is suddenly 12 feet tall and they're getting so angry about just such a minor mistake. Something's wrong here. This must be a dream. And when you achieve that moment of lucidity, of realizing this isn't real, I'm just dreaming this, you can then employ certain strategies to take control of the dream. And I was trying to think of a good analogy for this, but think about the creative mode in Minecraft. You can just fly around in this world that is entirely your own and shape it and build it however you want. That's probably the best way that I can explain what a lucid dream is. It's just a dream where you realize that it's not real and you're able to control it. So all of my videos in the future, or at least most of them for now, are going to be like this. Me just talking to the camera. I have a dream journal here that I've been keeping and taking notes on. And so a lot of my videos are just going to be me talking to the camera, discussing the dreams that I've had, whether I achieved lucidity or not, and discussing things that I'm doing to move closer towards that goal. And I'm just going to continue making these videos as often as I can, possibly daily, until I achieve that goal. And then I'll review what it is that I want to do from there. So the reason I'm doing this, other than the obvious benefits of being able to control your dreams, being a very empowering, powerful experience where, you can effectively do anything or experience anything, go anywhere or talk to whoever you want to talk to. I live in Melbourne, Australia, and currently we've just been through the first week of winter. And often in the winter time, I tend to suffer from a lot of depression type symptoms. I get very tired and lethargic. I get very cynical and down. And I often either lose all interest in the things that I'm usually interested in, and withdraw from it and just wait till winter is over. Or sometimes in the past I've pushed through and thought to myself, no, it doesn't matter if we enjoy it or not. We're just going to, go to the gym. We're just going to train martial arts. And I thought what might be helpful this year, because I'm beginning to see the signs of that happening, where I'm not enjoying the gym or going for runs. I'm not enjoying boxing or jiu-jitsu or any of my other training pursuits. I thought if I throw myself into a creative pursuit instead and tackle this project as a hobby and as a thing to keep my mind sharp, then that might be the answer to what I've been feeling lately every winter the last few years. So to talk about my baseline with regards to lucid dream, I have never had a lucid dream before. I first heard about it when the Chris Nolan film Inception came about. And I thought the movie was amazing, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool if you could actually do that? And after a little bit of searching online, I found out lucid dreaming is actually a scientifically documented thing since I think the 80s. And that searching online, it brought me to finding Dr. Stephen LaBerge's work. I saw that he had a couple of books published, and at the time, or around that time, I was in late high school. I was in my final year of high school, and my family went on a holiday to the USA. And while I was standing in this bookshop in New York, I found Stephen LaBerge's books. And so I bought them with a journal, and I started every morning remembering and writing down my dreams. And I would go back through these entries and I would circle the signs in my dream that it was a dream. You know, for example, a giant pelican swallowing a human being, or a rabbit talking to me, or something strange happening. I would go back and I would circle these signals that what I was experiencing was a dream. And I actually started to graph what are the most common signs for me that I'm dreaming. And what I found was I often dream about previous homes that I've grown up in, or spent happy memories in, like my cousin's house, especially before it was renovated. I often have dreams of these buildings being in the state that they were when I was a child, as well as childhood homes that I grew up in. Predominantly the 3 homes that I lived in before I moved out of my parents' place. So I am yet to have a lucid dream, and I've been back on this journey of trying to have one the last week. I've never found it difficult to remember my dreams, and often when I start to write them down, I actually find it, after a few days of practice, I find that I'm able to fill pages and pages of notes on what happened in the dream and what I was seeing and feeling and hearing. So that's kind of where I'm at now. My plan of attack in terms of making this lucid dream happen is I'm currently employing the wake back to bed technique, which is, to put it simply, you set an alarm about 5 hours after you go to sleep, so that your alarm goes off likely in the middle of an REM cycle, a rapid eye movement cycle, where you're most likely going to be dreaming. And when you wake up, you then spend about 20 minutes reflecting on what you were dreaming about, reminding yourself of your intention to have this lucid dream. And then you go, after about 20 minutes, you go back to sleep. And the goal is to use that brief interruption as a way to enter a lucid dream. Now, the other method that I'm employing is what's called the MILD technique, which stands for mnemonic. I've got that word wrong. Mnemonic. Memory-related induced lucid dreams. And so what I've been doing is each day I've been setting reminders on my phone, and when those reminders go off, I perform a reality test. Now, a reality test is a quick check that you can make to see if you're currently dreaming. And the way that I've been doing this, I know that there are lots of different ways, is the first thing I do is I picture what would it be like if I was able to push my finger through my palm. And I try a couple of times, and obviously that's not working because this is real life. And then I look at some text nearby. So for example, that right there says Project Lucidity. I look at it, I look away, I count it to maybe 5, and then I look back and I see if the text has changed or not. And all the while I'm doing this, I also narrate to myself, okay, well, what am I doing right now? I'm in my room, I'm uncomfortably talking to this camera for my first ever YouTube video, and there's nothing really that strikes me as odd right now. So there's a good chance that right now I'm actually awake. Now, the idea behind this technique is as you become, accustomed to performing these checks with certain stimuli triggering them. So for example, you might say, okay, I'm going to perform a reality check every time someone says my name, or every time I see a yellow car, or every time I walk through a door, or whatever it could be. When you train your mind to do this with prospective memory, remembering to do something when something else happens, what can then happen is in the dream, you might walk through a door, or someone might say your name, or you might see a yellow car in your dream. And because your prospective memory reminds you, hey, we're meant to do a reality check, in the dream, you may look around and go, wait a minute, I'm hanging upside down from the ceiling at work. That's weird. Why is this going on? And then you realize I'm in a dream. Okay, and you can then take control. So none of these ideas are mine. They're well-established ideas, and I'm not jumping on this to become some popular YouTuber. I think the lucid dream fad definitely was at its peak when Chris Nolan made Inception. But this is just something that I really care about achieving, and I'm doing it just for me. And if people get some entertainment, or they find this a helpful guide for their own lucid dreaming journey, then, all the better. So my current plan of attack is using that memory technique of training myself to perform reality checks. I'm also attempting the wake back to bed technique. I tried it last night, but unfortunately the alarm went off at about 5 a.m. I rolled over and immediately turned it off, and I thought to myself, okay, I need to get up. I need to write down my dreams. I need to remind myself of my intention to have a lucid dream. And unfortunately, I just almost immediately drifted back off to sleep and nothing happened. That's about it right now. I am in the mornings, I'm either recording my dreams in my dream journal, or I'm recording them in my notes on my phone to then transcribe in later. But yeah, so the goal is to experience and control a lucid dream, just one lucid dream. And I'll show you everything that it takes for me to get there. Okay, so I hope you enjoy the journey. I think this is going to be a really interesting little project. And if you can do all the usual YouTuber things like subscribe, share, comment down below if you've ever had a lucid dream, and what worked for you, what didn't work. I'd really love to hear from the lucid dreaming community on YouTube. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in tomorrow's video.